Hello everyone, and we're today on Redmond's football report, but it's not like a normal one. It's a Champions League special.
That's right. We're going to be talking about the Champions Leagues, particularly the European one, quite a bit today because we are back to seeing Champions League action live on the telly here and elsewhere, but it's not the only one. But we'll get on to that a little bit later.
I just want to tell you, first, before we get started, make sure to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you know every time we make a video.
Yes.
And also, I want to comment down below. I want you to comment down below. What is your favorite team of all of them at the end?
Okay, so list your favorite team in the comments below. First, we're going to have a look, as we do, at the results from the week. We had a few games on, we had a few interesting ones, and I managed to get we managed to get one or two scores spot on. Yeah. Working our way down through, first Champions League of the year, leave that alone. Al-Zamalek against MC Alger.
No, nobody really wins.
It's a draw.
It's a draw. We have
Sefan against Istiklal in Iran. Ended up with what was, to me anyway, a surprising 2-0 win for Sefan. Istiklal, I thought, would get a sneaker win out of that.
Nobody scores in the 20th minute. Let's go.
It keeps the game, the league title nice and open.
At the 30th minute,
where are you getting these times?
Well,
You're just making them up?
Yeah.
You're just making them up. It was a 1-0 win to Dynamo Zagreb, while Club America won 2-1 against Querétaro. No big surprises so far. I suppose Istiklal losing was one. Sydney FC, who have been dominant in the W League, lose 4-1 at home in their first failure to win this year. They'd only conceded one goal before this one, and they conceded 4, so we were both knocked out sideways by it. Palestino managed to get a 2-2 draw against Coquimbo Unido, which I don't remember if it's enough to put Palestino into Libertadores places. I don't think it was, but it was enough to keep Coquimbo Unido on the bottom. Even if they'd won that one, they were going to be relegated anyway because the other team up against them managed to get a win. And Spal against Empoli in Serie B ended up being... They can't hear you. A 1-1 draw. So quite a few draws, really, when you look at it this week.
Juventus smashed Empoli.
Yeah, some cracking goals in that. Girelli, Bonanse, all the usual suspects in there to score. So they are into the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia Femminile. Leicester City came back from a goal down against Liverpool to win 3-1 in the English Premiership, while Napoli came back from not being particularly great this season to win 1-0 against Juventus in a game that I wish I had missed because it was not it wasn't a great game at all, and that's not Napoli's fault either.
Barcelona takes the lead.
1 win to Barcelona, coming back from their 2-0 defeat to Sevilla in the Copa del Rey during the week, puts Barcelona looking a little bit more optimistic going into the week ahead.
Yes, it does.
And we will speak of that week ahead now presently. Let me get this thing off the screen. So before we start talking, Redmond, we're going to go through a tour of a few different games and a few different tournaments. But the big focus has to be the Champions League this week.
Because this is a Champions League special.
Yes, that too. There's 4 European Champions League games. Redmond, can you remember... when was the first time you saw a Champions League game?
I think it was when Liverpool won against Tottenham Hotspur on the final of the Champions League in 2019. I think that's the first ever.
It was the first win that you saw, definitely. And do you remember where we were watching it?
I don't remember.
It was in Spain. We were travelling from Sevilla to Madrid, and we had a planned stop on the night of the Champions League because we knew that Madrid would be manic to get into, and obviously we didn't have tickets. So we stopped in Merida, a few hours outside of Madrid, and We had hoped we'd have a TV and we'd have a TV that was connected to the game in our apartment.
But we didn't.
There wasn't as much as an air conditioner in our apartment, and more than that, there was no TV. So himself and myself were trying to listen over the internet, and eventually we heard was it the one and only goal? It feels like it was the one and only goal. I think it might have been 2-0.
We heard the penalty. Salah scoring a penalty.
But we made our way out to stop to a local pub, bar where I don't think we drank very much or ate very much.
Yeah.
But we hung out there and watched it because of the heat.
I slept.
What that was the game that you started following Liverpool in? Could you sit up on your seat properly?
Yes, that was my.
Why did you start following Liverpool in that game?
Because I like a lot of teams with big, really big cups they lift in the air.
Okay.
Like very big teams. And Liverpool wasn't a big team at that time. They were a biggish and smallish team.
They're an extremely big team for decades, Redmond. But you decided as soon as you heard that Mohamed Salah had scored in the second minute, I think it was, you decided that you were a Liverpool fan, yeah?
Yeah.
This is how it happens, boys and girls. This is how it happens.
And I think everyone's, I bet's favourite player of the game is Origi. The guy who saved the Champions League.
He did that in the semi-final.
He did that. In the final against Spurs, he scored at the last.
Did he score at the end? I can't remember. It's a while back.
He did. And what did he say when he scored?
I do not remember.
Me too.
But you've been watching Champions League a good bit since then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do you like the Champions League?
It's a really competitive league.
Can you remember who won last year, or who was in the final last year?
Spurs or Tottenham Hotspur, some people could say it, and Liverpool.
No, that was 2 years ago. That was in 2019. Who was last year's one? Remember, it was played in August.
It was, let me think, Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain.
And who won the game?
Bayern Munich.
That's right.
Many goals. 1-0.
1-0. So, they're not playing this week, but Paris Saint-Germain are. We're going to have a look at our preview now. We're not going to go straight to Europe, though. We're going to... actually, we are going to go straight to Europe. Pardon me. For some reason, I thought we were going elsewhere first. No, we're not. So, straight to Europe, and we're going to look at our feature game of the week, because, as we always do, they're the games that Redmond has picked, and he has teams in 3 of the other semi-finals. So our UEFA pick of the week and this of course is the first knockout round, our first post-group stage knockout round. This is the round of 16 teams competing to go through. It's 2 legs. First games this week they'll have a week off before they come back. Well, they'll have a week off of Champions League before they come back. Please stop doing that. So, Sevilla are doing incredibly well at the moment in Spain. They've won 9 games in a row, including beating Barcelona in the semi-final of the Copa del Rey. They have been pretty impressive in doing it, to be completely honest. And they are, since the group stages, they've only lost 2 games, and that's back in early December. The 2 games they lost to were to Atleti and Real Madrid. So... they've only managed to make it to the quarterfinal, past the second group, the first knockout stage, once in the past. So this is an attempt to do it again. Fingers crossed they can do it, I suppose, from one point of view. But of course, Dortmund, former winners, they're standing in the way. Yes, 1997 when they won it.
Yep, and that was the last time they won the cup. So if you're a Dortmund fan. If you don't know if they ever won the Champions League, you know right now. They won in 1997.
Indeed. Right, back to business. Dortmund have been erratic this season at best, to be honest. And since beating Leipzig and Wolfsburg at the beginning of January, they have not been great. They've won games against very weak teams and failed against also fairly weak teams. they're not impressive in spite of having some of the most... Please, would you stop? I know you think you're cute, but you're not. In spite of everything, they have one of the better squads there. You'd expect them to do well, but you never know. This game takes place on Thursday at 21 hours CET. Sevilla against Borussia Dortmund. Redmond, what's your prediction?
Sevilla, 1. Borussia Dortmund, 2.
I'm going the other way. Sevilla, I think, are an unstoppable team at the moment. 3-0, home win, setting them nicely up for the second round. Going on to Redmond's picks, and we have Barcelona against PSG. Paris Saint-Germain. Both teams need a lift. Barca are looking like they're out of the worst of the woods, but they're still conceding a lot of goals.
And also the last Champions League game they've played last year was 8-2 loss against
in the quarterfinal. German, oh dear, what's this saying? It says things are disconnected. Oh, it's still recording. I don't know why that's pinging in and pinging out. Well, you might see later. Currently, I know we're not broadcasting live, so sorry to any of you who tuned in, but thank you for coming back later. Redmond, Paris Saint-Germain against Barcelona in Barcelona. What score do you think it's going to be?
I think the first leg is going to have to be 1-1. Both great teams.
Well, that away goal would be vital for PSG, but I think it's going to be more than vital. I think they're going to win 2-1 in Barcelona. Again, I am not convinced about Barcelona. Please. And what's really tragic is this could be Messi's last year at Barcelona. Currently, they don't look like they're on course for any victory whatsoever in the year. We will see. There's still a lot of football to be played this year. Yep. Next up, we have Red Bull Leipzig against Liverpool FC in Germany, in East Germany, in Leipzig. So we have contrasting experiences with the two clubs. Red Bull are doing, Rasenball Sport, because they're not allowed to be called Red Bull. Leipzig are doing like they're going to confirm second place in the league. Meanwhile, Liverpool have lost 3 games in a row and are 6th at the moment in the English league. Sadly, from a spectator point of view, both the wonder kids for each team are out. That means Szoboszlai, I'm not certain, he's Hungarian, and Diogo Jota are both missing for the game. Liverpool need a win. Leipzig want to get through. This is an unfortunate draw for both of them, you could say. But, Redmond, what do you think is going to be the score?
I think Liverpool can find a win today.
2-0 win to Liverpool away from home. I think Liverpool will score today, but with so many of the defence still injured and 2 new guys to try and fit in, I think it's going to end up 2-1 to Leipzig on their home turf. The away goal will be useful to Liverpool. I think Leipzig will carry the night tonight. Third of Redmond's picks for the week, we have
Juventus versus Porto.
Juventus versus Porto, that's right. Neither team is at the summit in their home leagues. Porto not doing too bad, but they're currently about second. It looks to me, to be honest, that Sporting have won that league, hence me not rubbing anything in. Porto finished second in their group to Manchester City, while Juventus topped theirs over Barcelona. You would have to find... Porto have drawn their last 4 games, while Juventus were going quite well up until their recent blip of a draw against Inter. Please sit on your seat. And defeat at the weekend against Napoli. Redmond, what are you thinking of this one?
I think Liverpool...
It's not Liverpool, it's Juventus and Porto.
Juventus can pull off 2-0.
I think Juventus are going to get the away win as well, but I think it's only going to be a single goal to 0. Pirlo looks to be man-managing, and he's got a very deep defence tonight if the rumours of Bonucci and Chiellini starting are to be trusted. Next up, we're going to move to my pick for the week, which is the Europa League. Yes, I love the Europa League. I love it even more when I call it the UEFA Cup, but I'm old. Dynamo Kyiv against Club Brugges play in the last 32 teams in in the Europa League. Again, this is home and away goals, one away goal counting double if needed to separate the sides. For me, the Europa is more romantic, more unusual, and even with the Champions League's third teams dropping down, you still are more likely to get an interesting tie, and this is the definition of an interesting tie. Become huge in recent years, and in terms of metronomic qualities, they've seemed to have displaced Anderlecht. They're the only club that has been permanently in the top 3 since 2011. Currently, they're 13 points clear and they have a game in hand, so it's very hard to see Club Brugge not winning it out. Meanwhile, Dynamo Kyiv have become kind of the eternal second in the Ukraine. They've won it last in 2016. They've been second ever since. Currently, though, they are topped by 2 points. But unlike Bruges, they have been displaced from the top 2. And indeed, on one occasion, from the top 3. They're not the team that they were when I was a kid. They may not be the team they were when you were a kid, depending on when you were a kid. But it still is Dynamo Kyiv. Redmond, what do you think about Dynamo Kyiv against Club Brugge? Dynamo playing at home.
I think Dynamo can actually not win against Club Brugge.
Okay, so do you want to tell us the score?
The score is 0 Dynamo Kyiv, 2 Club Brugge.
Okay, unnecessarily eccentric in delivery. I'm going to go for a more mundane and pedestrian 1-0. Kyiv will always have a decent squad. There's going to be more creativity in Bruges, and I think in Bruges itself, it will be a more exciting game. Game I haven't, I almost forgot to preview, is in the Finnish Cup. Again, we're going back to the group stages, and we have Turku playing against Haka from who are up near Tampere from Haka. These Haka got promoted, I think, 2 years ago now, and they've been doing okay. They've not been doing brilliantly. Meanwhile, Turku seem to be going from strength to strength and are consistently getting good results. Not on Friday. On Thursday, they play them at 21 hours CET, which in Finland will be 22 hours, which is a pretty late game. Presumably, it'll be in the tent. I'm wondering if this is for some kind of routine-based broad streaming or broadcast of the game on pay TV. But it'll be intriguing to hear how things stop. I do know an awful lot of Egyptians who are kind of miffed at what they see as racism coming from people from Sudan. So this could be meatier than we know. Again, I also don't know what's going from Egypt that way. So who knows? It's all a mystery. Either way, Al-Merrikh are one of the 2 big Omdurman clubs. They're roughly about the same level of success in different... Al-Hilal being the newer club in Sudan, dating to 1930. This is an old team match. 1907 is the foundation of Al-Ahly. 1908 is the foundation of Al-Merrikh. Potentially, it could be a very good game. Both of the current domestic champions, Al-Ahly, are the current CAF Champions League champions. Redmond, who do you think is going to win this?
So, Al-Ahly, 1. Al-Merrikh, 0.
Okay, there we go. It's like football, the Stato printer football scores. For me, I think this is the best time to be playing Al-Ahly at home. They're only just back from Qatar. They're probably still somewhat celebrating. And yeah, coming back down to the comparative mundanity of the group stages of the Champions League. I think this is Al-Merrikh's best chance. They were lucky with this draw. If they're going to play Al-Ahly in Al-Ahly today, this is the week to do it, and today is the day to do it. I'm going to go for 1-1. And fingers crossed, it turns out to be a better game than that. Voyaging South American now, we're going to Brazil again, where we see Santos playing Corinthians. Currently we have, and we're going to league play for the next little bit as well. Ninth in the table plays 10th in the table. Santos have 50 points while Corinthians have 49. With 3 games to go, there's a very slight chance that they can get into the Copa Libertadores qualifying places, but they're 3 points behind. It is unlikely that there'll be enough slips for either of them to get in. Santos are had their first win in 6 in the league lately, while Corinthians have 1 win and 1 draw in 5. You'd not fancy either of them, but Santos do have the marginally better run into it. Redmond, what are you thinking?
Santos 2, Corinthians 0.
I'm going to go for this big comparatively Paulista derby, ending up 1-0 to Santos by the narrowest of margins. Skipping back the way that many Brazilians have travelled in the past, and we're going to the United Arab Emirates, where Al-Jazira play Baniyas. Now, again, pronunciation as always is awful, so I apologise. We have second place, third in the league, although it must be said that Al-Jazira are on the same points and have a better goal difference than the team that's top, which is, I think, Sharaj Social Club or Cultural Club. Either way, Sharaj are only ahead on, as far as I can tell, games played between the two. Of these two teams, there's 4 points in it between them. There is 16 games played out, 26. So it's not quite finalised, but it's getting there. Last season was cancelled after 19 games, and the two teams were 3rd and 9th, respectively. The previous season, when they played all 26, they ended up 5th and 6th. So these teams, there's not an awful lot in between the two of them. And what's more exciting still, they're both based in Abu Dhabi, which means it's an Abu Dhabi derby.
Abu Dhabi, derby.
Oh God, I was going to apologise for that before that happened. I apologise for this, and I will execute that. Redmond, Al-Jazira, Baniyas, what's the score going to be?
Al-Jazira, 0, Baniyas, 0.
I think it's going to be more exciting than that. I think we're going to look at a 2-1. I think it'll be a draw game and a late Al-Jazira goal there. Second last game we're covering this week, and we're nearly within the time. Real Espana against CD Olimpia in where is it? Honduras. Yes, it's early season play in the I think it's the Clausura in Honduras. Just so you know, all teams are broken. There's 12 teams in the top division in Honduras. They're broken into 3 groups of 4 this year. The winner's going on to a playoff. I think it's the top 2 go off. I can't recall exactly. Either way, we have Real Espana against CD Olimpia. Olimpia, all powerful, all conquering, apart from, falling short in the CONCACAF League, are the most successful team in Honduras. Real Espana are probably the 3rd after FAS, I think it is. And it's 3rd by a distance, but they're a significant team. This is also known as the El Clásico Moderno, or El Clásico Moderno Hondurano. I can't remember how it's pronounced. So this is a big deal. This is a very big deal for both these teams. Stop. Really and truly stop. So Redmond, seeing as you don't like not being the focus of attention, what do you think is going to be the score in this one?
CD Olimpia gets 2-0 win against Real Espana.
Yeah, I guess the same kind of score. I think it's going to be 3-0. Olimpia have only closed their season so recently that I think this is going to be basically a continuation of the last one. I think they're probably going to dominate. They lost 2 games all season last year in Honduras. Can't see why that wouldn't continue this season. Finally, our 10th game of the week, we have in the She Believes Cup, or is it hashtag She Believes? I'm not sure. Women's International Football at long last. I think it is Thursday night. We have a game going on between Brazil and Argentina in it, but the headline act, if you will, on the day.
It's USA versus Canada.
It's USA against Canada. We have 1st against 8th in the world. So the She Believes Cup is a major tournament at this stage. It really was set up as a way of giving the US women's team more games. Let's not beat about the bush. More games and giving fans a chance to see them. And it's kind of evolved into a tournament not arguably as prestigious or more prestigious than the Algarve Cup. It is generally very big teams bringing big squads. And so we have first to 8th, and somehow Brazil are also 8th. And I think it's 12th or 11th or something like that is where Argentina are at. Please stop tapping the table. Keep your hands off the table. Obviously, as you can imagine, USA and Canada are old rivals in this. Or old rivals, I should say, full stop. A lot of Canadian players and US players, both in the National Women's Soccer League. So it sounds like it could be a potentially meaty matchup. The US tends to dominate these kind of games, but every now and again they use it as an opportunity to experiment. New coach at the helm, the Macedonian guy whose name escapes me right now. And I also don't know how good of a squad they've brought, but Canada's always going to be up for a game against the US. And they've come very close to big upsets in the past.
I just want to change my score.
Of course you do. So, there's a lie about to get posted up. Go on.
I want the USA. I think the USA is going to win 4-0.
4-0. Wow, you've not made a good choice there, I don't think. 4-0 win Redmond has picked for the USA. Ignore the 2-0 score to Canada he initially went with for some reason.
Because I thought it was a men's game.
Oh God, Redmond, 4-0 would be more appropriate for the men's game than the women's.
Oh my God.
That said, as I say that, I do expect there to be 4 goals in the game. My prediction is 3-1 to the USA. Should be a good match. They normally are. So, that is